Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia. Welcome back to another episode of our Suzerain Let's Play as we continue from Chapter 1. Last episode, we got to see our life before becoming president. And now that we're the president of the Republic of Sordland, we get to make some decisions, or play the game actually. So let's see. First thing I want to do is check out the news. We have 6 unread newspapers. The Hosod Post, so the capital's Post. Rayne spoke of unity. President Anton Rayne has been sworn into duty in a great ceremony in Hosod. Thousands have attended the ceremony where President Rayne has met with his supporters for the first time after his election. In his inauguration, Rayne spoke of unity, bringing focus on people's right for a free and prosperous life. For many generations, this country and its long history has kept us tied to an idea, the idea of unity, said the news president before he went on to start his first day in the Maroon Palace. And obviously a little bit of background information if we need about the capital. Introducing all the buildings here. Seems to be a politics town. The east side is home to the best universities in the country. Hosod's State University, Kings Hill University, and the Imperial Markian University. The League of the Trident. Ministry of Defense, Camp Strongarm. Largest military contingent in the country, the 1st Army. The Elite 101, 101st, 102nd, 103rd Presidential Guard Divisions. The military was once completely decentralized, which meant no troop was allowed in the capital, but it changed with Colonel Sol. Okay. I mean, the background provided in this game is very, very nice. Alright, Sordland today. Let's see, the Heart of Sordland, most sold newspaper. The new president has sworn into office by Chief Justice Orso Hawker. We only got 37% of the vote. Okay, so it's a multiple party, not a two-party system here for sure. 37% in a multiple party system is not low. I mean, if we look at the German election recently, 25% was majority, or relative majority. Who congratulated us first? The National Front Party, the runner-up of the general vote. Oh, they're not the runner-up. Let's look at them later. But this will be a party who might be sort of friendly to us. Kesoro Kibner. National Front represents the far right. So he would be the nationalist, borderline, perhaps fascist, depending on how right we're talking about in terms of far right. With an art degree, who are they trying to hint at? He was a propaganda artist. He announced the coup in 27 on radio. A small city. Most nationalist city. Ooh. Okay, we're gonna have to learn these stuff too. We gotta know our country. Strong stance against immigration. I mean, we sort of did that too. We turned those refugees back. Was the mayor of Jen. Survived assassination. Ran for president before. Claimed the assassin was a separatist from another country, of course. Blamed the foreigners. Had the best result. 3rd largest party. in our election. 53 is this election. Okay, so they're the third largest party. And on the rise, nationalism is on the rise. The runner-up, PFJP, the People's Freedom and Justice Party. Looks like a Twitter handle. Promotes liberalism and social democracy. Led by Fern Richter, the current main opposition in the General Assembly. This would be Congress, the Grand National Assembly. So they're our opposition party, being the second largest. They were established in my hometown, Lockhaven. Group of union of opposition groups against the government of Tarquin Sol, our not predecessor, but the predecessor of our predecessor. Central left, okay. I like the central part here. Left-leaning intellect, labor unions. And there's also leftist grassroots. Boondish voters, so some immigrant in here. Supports free market. They represent the reformist faction, advocating for a more diplomatic constitution. Also increasing. We are basically the big ruling party on decline. The oldest party. The founding party. 3 arrows shining from a light bulb. Republicanism, nationalism, and statism. Okay. They pushed for free market reform, which resulted in the recession of 51. Helped me rise up. Okay. All right. 1,000 supporters. Positive mood. City celebrating the Lockhavener has become president. Yep. The Lockhaven Times, my hometown paper. New assembly begin duty. President Anton Rayne has been elected the 4th president of Sordland in the 7th Swedish elections. The United Sordland Party has won the election on Sunday with just over 37% of the vote. Wolfrins Richter, the leader of People's Freedom and Justice Party, could gain just over 20%. Okay, so there's still quite a gap between us and the second place party. And the National Front, 11%. The Communist Party and the Workers' Party of Budia. Maybe Budia is a province, now that it's having a party name associated with that. Both won just below 10%, failing to pass the 10%. Wow, the threshold is 10%. That's actually quite high. So it's not entirely multiple party sort of governance, because basically you don't get seats unless you break the 10% threshold, which is quite high actually if you're allowing a lot of parties. So it's almost like a 3-party system, but these are close. These are just below, and the National Front Party is only 11%, so barely over there. So basically, if you flush out all the vote, you end up with 37 plus 20 plus 11, right? So essentially, this will be just 31 to our 37, which is why we have 52% of the seats, 130, 70, 40 split. Oh, there's also 10 independent, which is why it's a little bit off than 52, because 37 will be much higher than 31 here. Okay, so there's some independent seats awarded as well. So maybe they do get a couple seats. But we do have a strong majority, right? Even if you combine all the other seats, you're only looking at 120 votes. So if we keep the party firm, we can push policies through. Radical. So this will be the left. How many times will people fall for the same trap? We've seen this before with Colonel Sol, who's supposed to save the country and brought stability in time of chaos. His stability, however, meant a life of oppression. Any opposing voice were silenced, and many were prosecuted. Next to Alfonso, who was elected as the liberal reformer to bring change to USP, and Sordland, seeing his unfortunate inability, his own cabinet resigned. As the 3rd USP candidate becomes president, it's high time to realize the real change won't come from their party. So I'm guessing they're the voice for the second party, the what's the short for? PFJP. Freedom and Liberty Party. I just call them that. Economist. Let's see. Restructure the infrastructure. After the recent success mega infrastructure project from a United Container. So this is the communist East, basically. And Voxland's our neighbor. The world is warming up to the idea as a source of growth and employment. So this would be like, say, China's mega growth project of building railroads, building highways, and such. But even more so in the long term. Yes. Business logistics. I mean, if you could cut shipping down, like if you cut shipping time and cost down, that's gonna help economy grow. I mean, the economy's not that simple. There's a lot of factors in there. It's not just incentives. Education is a big part. You know, the workforce, what level of education they have determines sort of what type of work you can approach. Integrate the world economy. Oh, Solonomics. He's a big factor. He was president for 5 terms. Past 20 years. The last 2 4-year plan of the plan doctrine created a budget deficit and a clear reduction of the industrial production output. Well, that's not good. Okay, so it was very productive in the beginning of the privatization program. But what happened? Mikhail Avin, businessman, economist, statesman, serves on the National Business Council. Oh, England, not our name, not from our country. Anglo-Swedish family. Went to the same school as I did. Financial advisor, project director. Member countries. Sort of like OPEC, but OMEC here. Sort of like the IMF, actually. Not really like OMEC. Anyways, let's see. Edith. Chairwoman of the Central Bank. First woman to hold the position. Adopted daughter of the first president of the Republic. The one before the coup, I think. Also went to the business school for a master's. She fled first to our neighboring country of Lesbia. Then moved over Arcadia, so basically like America. After death of the father, investment firm. Oh. So we got ourselves a investment banker coming back. Invited back when we turned to free market economy. Interesting stories. Alright. The recession was not actually caused by the bold privatization program, but by drastic obstructions of the state executive hindering the plan. Right, we must go all in. President Rayne must take the advice of the plan economy proponents around him with a pinch of salt, otherwise he'll find himself in the same spot of Tarquin Soil in the middle 40s. No paper from Geopolitics, and we're good with our news, caught up with our news. There are all these icons telling me to take a look at things. And before we do that, active policies. BFP ban. British Freedom Party, right, they're still illegal. President may veto bills, according to Article 77 and 82 of the new Constitution. Okay. President impeachable by the courts. Ooh, we gotta be careful. Especially since the old man, Oslo, is a hardline conservative. Minister chosen from the assembly. So basically, it has to be part of the Congress for us to appoint them. Election threshold of 10%. This I kind of want to fix, although it does favor us because once you get rid of the less than 10% people, we become a simple majority. Presidential decree. We can issue decrees who carry the force of law, cannot contradict the Constitution, and are subject to judicial reviews. And the Assembly may pass legislation on the same subject to override the presidential decrees. Okay, so we have some ability to push for some limited problems, with decrees, but both the Congress and the judicial branch could override us. Unlimited terms, immunity from justice. Justices are not responsible for the... Oh, wow. Justices have immunity. Who gets the Member of Honor title? Security team. Special private resident. Currently only Tarquin Soul is a member. I see. Amendment would be proposed by member of assembly with at least 150 signatures. That's a lot, right? We have 130. We have 120. Total number would be 250 people. So this would be 60%, right? And then a 2/3 majority vote in to get it passed. So even more than 150 after that. Interesting. In our current situation, there's a court backlog. Limited women's right. Extreme sexism both in the workplace and the home. Law banning any girl to learn natural science, social science, and the likes. They always pay less. Okay. I mean, given the art style and some of the building choices, we are definitely some influenced from Muslim countries. The Buddhist problem. Are they a landless ethnic group? Like, for example, maybe the Kurds? Judiciary rivalry. So the Supreme Court and the Ministry of Justice are two separate entities who are bidding for who has the final say in terms of legal authority. Some human rights problems. Freedom of press. And this is a current situation, I guess. I like how this one's green. Economy, Afonsonomics. Wow, let's see. It's basically stuck between the two systems. It could work. It's not saying... Like, for example, the modern economy of China will be kind of like this, leaning towards a free market system within the provincial tier, but it's also heavily planned at the same time, and it could work. I mean, whenever you use the term planned economy, it just depends on how good the plan is, right? If you have a bad plan, then you have a bad economy. Weak transportation links. Okay, so we have bad infrastructure, unemployment crisis, tax evasion. Oh, this is the big one. Decreased trade volumes. Okay. Bergia economy plummeting. This region that we have. Increase in crime, homelessness, and unemployment. We have a rust belt. And the region that lacks investment. Mismanagement and stagnating production. We have a lot of economy problems. Let's see our military. We're just basically getting to know our country. So the Gendarmerie is an armed law enforcement organization. So this is like our police. I guess they are like sheriffs, right? Royal security, but can be deployed to assist cities by mayors. The general staff. So at 18, you have to be conscripted into the force. Military interference in politics. Outdated equipment. Okay, so they're interfering with the justice system too. That's maybe a good thing because everyone is compulsed to serve. Experienced generals. Okay. Our welfare, freedom in curriculum, education. Have freedom to teach either creationism or evolution. Oh gosh. Voluntary vaccination. Oh dear. I have to disagree with both of those, but anyways. Okay. Well, I don't know what the Rayne, autocracy principle is, but seems to be questioned. We have an overburdened welfare system, low quality of rural healthcare, inaccessible rural education, inconsistent curriculum, right? Because, freedom in curriculum. Soulless education, right? It's a lot of nationalism, maybe even personal worship going on. Urban institution seems well funded. So the security, I guess this would be like the police, has excessive privileges. Corruption. Illegal immigration. Organized crime. Coronelli and Skinner cartel. Okay. Diplomacy, we have a principle of neutrality. We are OMEC member. On member. Alliance of Nations. Like the UN. Okay. Roomberg expansionism. Maybe this is a neighbor with aggressive expansion. Lack of allies. Oh wow. We are a key member in OMEC. And we have experienced diplomat. That's good to know. Peter is our vice president. Charismatic. Laid back and charming. Married to Evelyn. Journalist. Wait, she's vice president. Oh no, he's vice president. I was like, well, she ended her career as a teacher of literature. Centrist. Chief Strategist and Chief of Staff, Lucian. Lawyer. Chief Securities Officer. He was the advisor to the Interior Minister during Seoul's last term. Expert of law and media. Okay. Minister of Interior, Lelius. Staff Sergeant in the Women's Army Corps. So a very successful mayor in her hometown. And then became the mayor of the capital. Interesting. Quit her mayor job to become our Minister of Interior. Minister of Economy, Simon Hall. Former chairman of the central bank. Big supporter of free market. Okay. Interesting. Nia Morgana is politician, attorney, Minister of Justice and Law, Vice Minister of Justice during the previous regime. Seems to be a clean character. No corruption, or very anti-corruption. Isov, Minister of Defense. He's going to be a big one. Captain in the Civil War. Reform the army into professionals rather than conscripted force. Big critic of the previous administration's policies. Conservative. Okay. Sierra? Let's see. She's the Minister of Education. Supported socialist politics. Supports women's rights. She was a teacher at our university. Okay, three female ministers. Not bad in a 10 character positioning here. Visici, I think we met him already, or at least read a paper about him. He's our foreign affairs minister. Right, we read about his father, founder of the Republic. Was also a professor. Criticized the Buddhist situation. Right, because this is the president that was overthrown in a coup by the founder of our party, Tarquin Sol. Interesting. Gus is our agriculture and rural development. Served previously as also a minister position here. Most experienced minister, returning minister. Minister of Health, Social Affairs, and Labor. Served as president of universities of medicine. Wrote 8 books, The Unfortunate Man. Oh, he's a fiction writer who brings up social issues. Okay. Social security policy. But eventually turned against the previous president's free market reform and the president's management of them. It drained the badly needed resource away from welfare programs. Ooh, we might not be able to support him. We'll see. Factions. The Old Guard. Key figure, Orso Hawker, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. The Oligarchies. Walter Tusk. Businessman, millionaire, investor. He owns the Economist paper, huh? Also the Steel Company. 8th richest, not that high. Okay. And the Reformists. The president of the leading opposition party. Or the leader of the party. Okay. And this is our government seat, 250. We have exactly 130 of that. Speaker of the Assembly, Gloria Tori. Was a lobbyist. She was a critic of the previous president. Famed for her obstructions for his policies. She's gonna be a tough cookie to deal with. Second time speaker. Leader of the opposition will be Ferns. Chairman of NFP, National Frontier Party, Kibner. Leader of the Independent, we haven't met him. Mensolviki. Buddhist, okay. Leader of the pro-Buddhist Workers' Party of Buddha. Rights of religious and ethnic minorities. A bloody protest, the foundation of the system. Has a little bit of almost the Irish flair. Judiciary seats. Old Guard has 5 of the 11 seats. 3 centrist, 3 reformist. Chief Justice, notable Justice Herons under Old Guard. Anyway, we can see their age. Key obstructionist, okay. A centrist, Isabel. Youngest person to serve the courts. Believes in democracy and secularism. Oh, Nia. Wait, how is she? She's also a court member and also the Minister of Justice and Law. That is a very conflicting duty. Alright, we kind of have a political overview. And we can take notes ourselves if we want. I don't think we'll be doing that. Let's take a look at this big icon. I don't know what these are. Oh, okay. Port loses importance. Prestigious city of Lockhaven, financial center of Sordland, contains the largest port in the country, which also is the 3rd busiest in Markopia. Located in the Nagas region, the city is prominent for entertainment and tourism. GDP, population, elevation, metro area. Okay, so these are minor notes. Lack of investment in Avery. Ethnically diverse coastal city. Marquis and Anglo settlers. Logistic hub for land trade between Angola and Sordland. Okay. Low production. The only non-coastal city. Big forest. Traditional hunting clubs. Peaceful residency. Congratulations from a neighboring president, the Republic of Willen. Fragile country in the mountainous area. Extraordinary hospitality despite lower living standards. Any other congratulations from neighboring countries? Merchant nation. Good at ship making. Rumberg. Are they Rumberg? Yes, so they're the aggressive faction to the north who's been trying to expand. This could be a problem in the future. Congratulations from their chancellor. Major naval power. Previous colonial past, spread of their language. Empire has been removed. Lesbia. Big tourist capital, culturally more social and politically more liberal. Turning towards isolationism and protectionism. It's a member nation of E02. Guessing that's a reference to NATO. Alright, we checked out all the notification. Time to get down to business. Read the report from Hosend. Read the report from Hosend. General staff gathers. Briefing on the current political situation. Briefing on current... Let's start with here. Mayor of Hosend reports the rising population and fast urban expansion has resulted in high levels of congestion in the city traffic. Logistic report underlines increased traffic and slow transportation routes, the biggest problem in the capital. Absence of well-designed large land-based logistics center where all transporters come together is one of the biggest problems for domestic transporter because Holland is a big metropolis. Transporters scattered all over Hosend have established centers in 10 different districts. Okay. The general staff convened right after the election to congratulate our victory. All branches of the Swedish armed forces were represented in the meeting that took place at Camp Strömarm, which massive security measures. The chief of the armed forces, Welcome Kruger, 4-star general, current chief, key supporter of Seoul, oldest person to hold the title. Okay. Highlighting the increased chance of military confrontation in Eastern Markopia, thanks to us for promise to strengthen and support military. Eastern? I'm guessing... Wait, Eastern means... them? Them? I thought they were the aggressive nation out west. And I guess I should click on the report to actually read the report. Warns us about the threat of encroaching malevolence. So we can think of this almost like communist influence from United Contea from the east. Unity within the, I guess, this region. Normalize diplomatic situations. Continue to trade partnership. Equal partners. As opposed to earlier trade deal, which he believed gave Sordland unfair advantages. Okay. Concessions from Ruggle in case of promising trade deal. So they're also not a fan. I mean, I guess they're towards the east, so they will be more closely tied perhaps with the let's call them the communist ideas versus the democracy principles. Low production, high rates of food insecurity, malnutrition. Okay. Hesitant to invest. %19 of the company's total expenditure is absorbed by logistic costs. So if we improve logistic, we can shave that cost below 10% compared to peer. So basically it's unattractive because of low infrastructure setup. It's no longer the busiest. Falling to third. Used to be the busiest. Alright, back to our main event. Let's have a briefing. Peter Vector arrives a couple minutes early, sat across from me. He was struggling to hold back his smile. We did it, Anton. We won. Finally, all those years with our noses to the grindstone paid off. Peter's eyes sparkled. The strain of the past month had put a damper on his usual rickish charm, but today he was looking and acting more like his old self. He loosened his tie and undid the top 2 buttons of his shirt. Enjoying the new secretary I picked out for you. Thought you would appreciate her gorgeous set of talents. It's a shame the rest of your staff aren't as easy on the eyes. Gestured to the slight pouch that protruded over his waistband. Talking about himself, huh? But hey, back university, did you ever imagine we would be sitting here in the Maroon Palace? We have to celebrate this great victory. Okay. let's... it's tough because he is an old friend, classmate of sorts, been with us since the beginning. All right, let's have a drink. I guess this will be a wine, right? But 30-year-old wine? That's, I mean, yeah, that's possible. Opened expensive bottle. Oh, it's whiskey. I mean, it's called Maroon. But yeah, no one would age a wine 30 years, though. Poured it into glasses I prepared. The 1924. That was my freshman year. Also the year after the revolution. Pretty difficult times, to be honest, but this smells like heaven. Wait, freshman year? High school? He would be, yeah, 16. I think he's the same age as us. The future awaits. I raised my glass and toasted with Peter before smelling the whiskey and taking a sip. The sweet vanilla tone combined with the oaky taste developed into a lingering smokiness. Peter seemed to really enjoying himself. What a taste. This is how we should start all meetings, Anton. We wouldn't get much done. Remember the last administration? Yeah, but we are different. All they did was enjoy the privileges. We won't make the same mistake again. We can't make the same mistake. We learned from it all. Yes, we did. The door swung open and Lucian, our chief strategist, walked in. He was a compact man, short, with a sharp, bird-like feature. Sharp nose, I guess? After briefly surveying the room from wall to wall, he sat down, poured a glass of water, and opened his briefcase in a series of quick, graceful movements. Hard worker. Gentleman. A tall case clock in the room struck 3 o'clock. Damn, you are exactly on time. Hello, Peter. Lucian then turned towards me. He very slightly bowed his head. Let's not waste any time, Lucian. Proceed with the overview. As you wish, sir. Yeah, we have to treat everyone like how they act, right? You know, Peter is a friend, is loose. Lucian seems to be a pretty, I don't know, pretty straight worker, right? On time, get to work. Lucian spoke in soft, clipped tones that immediately drew your attention towards what he had to say. Peter and I waited for him to proceed. Let's start by evaluating our current situation. The majority of the Swordfish people demand change. They are more concerned about the economy than the Constitution, but they blame the system for their problems. People are losing their trust in our democracy. Why do you think radicals like Bernard Circus is a poet, okay. Are becoming more popular. Romantic communist, okay. Red youth. First communist to be elected. Oh, so he's currently he's independent. Everyone's suspecting us to bring the change the last government did not. Fern Richter, the leader of the reformists, believes that true change can only be accomplished by transferring some of our powers to the assembly. I will move into the details of their demands shortly. Give us a chance to make the change. If we lose power, we won't be able to execute the changes we need to make for the good of the country. It may create issues for us, yes. However, with the reformists gaining more popularity, we may not be in a position to stand against them. Mr. Richter managed to persuade many members of the Assembly to give their support for drafting a new constitution. Reformist politicians are quickly increasing in number. While reformist wing inside our party is still a minority, they could have a tripartisan majority in the Assembly, especially if they unite under Fern Richter. Huh. We need to dictate the message of the reform. Yeah, we can't let the People's Freedom and Justice Party take the leadership spotlight. They are a minority opposition party. Gotta remember that. The reformist demands are clear. They want to limit the president's veto power, ensure the Supreme Court's independent, and take away the court's right to vote on constitutional amendment. Wow, that is not very... it's not very democratic. We'll be shaping our own future. I agree, sir. The old guard will do its best to preserve the Constitution. Chief Justice Hawker and his allied judge have a great influence over the Supreme Court, which will be tough to break. The court also has the final say over constitutional legislation. Without their approval, we can't even change it. Right. Is changing the Constitution our major objective here, at least in the beginning term? I don't really think so. We do need to get rid of the old guards. But maybe one thing at a time. We need to work with the Supreme Court one way or the other. True, but we can't let the old guard manipulate us and backstab us, let's say we did with the Alfonso. Right, we can't underestimate this situation. We can figure it out. Our party still holds 130 out of 250 seats in the assembly. We have got the power. However, to reform the Constitution, we must receive a 2/3 majority in the Grand National Assembly, which is 166 votes, and a simple majority in the Supreme Court, which equates to 6 votes. So if we gather up all the centrists and the reformists, we could have our 6th vote in the Supreme Court. We need to absorb at least one minor party, notably the National Frontier Party, with their 40 votes, and keep our party in line to even get it possible to be 166. These are definitely difficult challenges. After we have settled on how to proceed, we'll need to talk with our party figures. Our first goal must be to get 150 signatures needed to start the process. Following the green light from the USP, we'll reach out to the other party leaders to see if they would back our draft. The last step is to convince the justices of the court. The entire process will take a long time, but we must start working with the reform committee to evaluate all possibilities for a new constitution as soon as possible. Oh, wow. I am personally in favor of this one. We are becoming more and more like a dictator, but a good one. Emergency time calls for emergency power. Right, we'll try to find a way to give ourselves the power to make the changes. It's very bold. Then we must start with eliminating the Supreme Court's authority over constitutional legislation, perhaps take their immunity away. Don't forget that reformists want us to address the loopholes in the presidential veto system, so we're losing votes on both sides. Huh. I will not limit my veto powers. Right. They can remain. I'm guessing it's the Supreme Court's authority and immunity. Let's just take a look at it in detail. What everyone's expecting is a rebalance of power between the executive, legislative, and judiciary branches. That does include strengthening the assembly by giving them a chance to override vetoes, as well as ensuring the judiciary is independent. The assembly is actually in our party's control. I'm not so scared of them right now. According to the initial draft we made with the reformists, there are 2 changes to the Constitution that are not open for their discussion. Open the dossier. First, the Supreme Court will no longer vote on constitutional amendment. Second, the President's absolute veto will be taken away. This can be replaced with a limited veto system by fixing the current loophole. Or rather, not. Yeah, this is too much power to the Assembly. They're basically crippling the judiciary as well as the executive branch. That will not be accepted by the reformists. This draft has to be created with the advice of both our party and the PFJP members. Keeping your absolute veto over legislation but taking away the Supreme Court's influence over the Assembly will make it look like a power grab. The reformists are pretty loud about their thoughts on the presidential power, Anton. You know they think this position breed dictators. Ooh. This is interesting. Because we do have intentions to become sort of a dictator here. And they have simply 70 votes. How could they have this much influence? Even if they all vote no, we can still get this 166. I am still curious about this. Of course, we'll have time to discuss everything you want. To clarify before we head into any particular direction, what are your intentions, sir? The second one, we need to have strength and power in order to make change. I understand. We do not have to remove your veto. Instead, we can discuss limiting it with the reformist. He is, let's see. He is... Doesn't say if he has any preferences. Huh, he's policy neutral. I like that. We must strengthen my position. Very well, we'll begin to explore how to realistically pass such a constitutional change. We'll form a reform committee and start talking with all stakeholders in the Assembly and the Court to see if such change to the Constitution will be possible. By later in the year, we should know more about the reform content, how to balance the clauses of the new Constitution. Lucian took notes. Another important point, we must be aware of the Luthenberger group, the business group, the oligarchies. Walter Tusk. It's a big business conglomerate here. Most members are unknown, but they picked the 8th richest to be their speaker. Conrad led it for a long time before falling ill. The new leader is Mr. Walter Tusk. According to reports, some members of the National Business Council are in their pockets. Tusk and the group will surely try to bribe us in exchange for special economic protection. Oh wow. There is quite a variety here. We need to be diplomatic. We need to talk to them. But the outcome remains to be seen. Wise approach. It's good to understand and see if we can reach a middle ground. Lucian looked at Peter. As far as I know, Marcel Cornerty has some strong ties to this group. His influence could definitely be an asset for us, but I'm sure he'll want something in return. Businessman, son of the media. Oh, wow. Advertising firm. HOS. Heart of Sordland. Also was a chairman of a resort group. Interesting. Huh. Play tough. We do want to use the business network. Let's value them. If we can get them to side with us, it all depends on what benefit we can offer and what the leader wants. We need to tread carefully on all sides with all power players to survive our term and to underline the seriousness of the situation. Our election campaign promised to focus on the military. This was a safe choice. The military and the general staff are a powerful element in the state, and as history tells us, a dangerous one too. Right, the first founder of the Republic died in the coup, basically, get captured. We will make them our close ally. Rimberg, faction in the north, is a massive threat, one that also requires us to ally with other stronger nations. Defense Minister Isof Lancia is more loyal to us compared to General Kruger. Nationalist. Quite celebrated. A fact that obviously can change with our actions. Either way, I see a potential rift between the two since they are clearly of different minds. If we act strongly against the military, both of these guys will unite against us. I agree with Lucian, we need to tread carefully here. Lucian look at his watch. Well then, gentlemen, precisely 30 minutes. This concludes our political briefing for today. Our next meeting will be about our media strategy. Talk to you soon, sir. I'll keep in touch. See you both at the next meeting. Alright, we got a couple updates, got a couple news, couple new things on screen. And I think this will be an end. There's also a change to the country overview and a few other pointers around the map. That was quite a handful, just getting to know the country and the factions and who's in our party, who's against us, and so forth. But that was kind of fun. So hope you guys enjoyed this one, and see you all next time. Bye!